it'll come back. Come on. Come on. Come on.
You walk the same street every day, and you think you know it, but you don't actually, because you don't pay attention. You remember where you are, but you don't look and see, has anything changed? No. So you find new things every time you do the same thing. It's always new.
Every day you just give them a little whistle, they'll let you know how it is, and then as soon as I whistle, they'll know how it is, and you just come down straight away, really. You know? You're lovely, man. Just like training a budgie. Good stuff, man. Good. There you go. I'm gonna have to go, right? I'll see you later, right? See you later, bye.
We become a part of the environment that we live in, if we choose or not. If you walk into the street and you connect with the people, with the environment, with the buildings, with things, you can't avoid that. This is part of what's happening. It's not your choice. You can't be not involved. It's impossible.
I think the town centre's getting a lot better. I used to live in North Shields and that's actually gone downhill, whereas Wallsend is getting a lot of money and they're regenerating the area and it does look a lot better.
North Shields, very nice town, everything easy, shopping center around, people nice. People is nice, yeah. This is a peace place.
Downward spiral. In the last decade or two, yeah. Like every other town. Exactly the same as every other town. There was over 100 pubs on the bottom road. Not all pubs, but it was a very busy town, North Shields.
The change of times or more people in the area now than what there used to be. I suppose there's more people living in the area. Newer houses have been built and things like that, so it makes it seem a lot busier than what it is. But we need some more maybe specialised, I don't know, just a lot of things went in the last few years.
This is a little town with not many shops. Our high street's tiny, we don't need 4 mobile phone shops.
More bookies than that, so you can lose your money. Most of the shops now are second-hand shops now, like down here used to be Palace doesn't that.
I've only moved here about 4 months ago from Heaton, but I spent a lot of time here as a kid with my mum and nana in the charity shops, so I'm kind of familiar with it.
I've been a few times, absolutely fantastic for charity shops. I love it here. As I said, the wildlife at the moment, they're doing the Christmas reindeer, which I think that's absolutely superb.
Hello. How are you, Leo? Where is your mom?
We went home to get ready come to see the reindeers.
Leo, why you be naughty all the time? You always jumping.
You should have seen him inside. That's how he was shaking his boat.
Clothes shops, children's, kids shops, toy shops, just anything really, yeah. Oh, it'd be nice to get some big names like Primark, but that's never going to happen.
I know Wallsend is quite a central town. It's got the bus depot, whereas you didn't have that in North Shields. So obviously there's a lot more people coming through Wallsend. Maybe that's partly to do with it, I'm not sure. But it's good, obviously we live here and it benefits us.
Like even the bus stations, it's all changing now. They're all getting if you walk at the heart of Shields, there's loads of shops shutting. Well, you see up the road beside the metro, there's loads of shops shutting. It's all cordoned off. It's going to be like a massive complex, like bus stations and that, that'll kind of change.
Co-op's closed down, and that was a really good shop. It's a pity you couldn't relocate somewhere else, but because that's getting made into a transport hub.
This, apparently, from what I've been told, the lease for this shop didn't run out until March of next year. Why couldn't they have continued to keep people's jobs? A lot of those girls in there, they haven't got jobs. Our town is dying. It's an absolute disgrace. I do not like what they're doing at all. It should have been left the way it was.
It's felt really lacklustre for a lot of years, but recently I can see changes, that the town centre's starting to rejuvenate itself, and there's money coming into the area. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen next, though. Good things, I hope.
It's an up-and-coming area in a lot of ways. It could be gentrified.
It's like, imagine if they opened a Harrods. Like, what would that do? Or not. I mean, that's probably an extreme example. You've got things like Iceland, Home Bargains, B&M. There aren't many students down here, so would the need to diversify? And I think as much as there's like a Costa's opened, which I remember being quite a big, because it's a major chain, and I know there are things in the forum that have been there years, like Iceland and stuff.
Well, we meet at Costa every morning with friends from, like, dropping the kids off at school, and we sit there for 2 hours, and we're freezing all the time. But you can sit there when it's, you can get a drink and natter. It's brilliant, yeah. You end up meeting more people as well because they end up involved in your conversations, things like that, yeah.
I was born in North Shields, and I used to come here as a child with my mum, and we used to meet all of the family. It was like a central hub for everybody to get together. They didn't even used to go for coffee in those days. They used to just meet in the street and just talk forever. People had time to do that kind of thing then. I guess a lot of women didn't work then, so they would just meet in the street and have long conversations, and then your aunties would make personal comments about how ill you looked, how pale your face was, is she okay, talk about you, and that kind of thing. But it was a vibrant sort of place to go to.
I mean, I dare say what they're going to do with the area, a new, big bus station, things like that, they're going to put there, but it depends what other things they put there in place of it. Yeah, there isn't anywhere really, there's nothing apart from sitting on a little bench in the middle of the street somewhere. There's no, I know there's a lot of cafes and things like that, but not everybody wants to do that. There's not always somewhere even that's maybe free apart from the library, and then obviously with restrictions and things, that's all been just really recently opened up again, so hopefully it'll generate a little bit of something to the area.
Lockdown time is very difficult little bit. Like, I just work. At the moment anyway, still coronavirus. Anyway, people used to know how to live the coronavirus time.
I was fine. I mean, obviously I missed my grandchildren, because they live in Sunderland. I got by. I mean, it was scary, a bit frightening at first, wasn't it? But once you got used to things and had some idea how to cope with the situation, it wasn't too bad, you got by.
When the lockdown came and I had to self-isolate for 12 weeks, I couldn't go out at all. So then when I could, I thought, I'll make a start, and I started walking here again. I just find it so uplifting.
We avoided it at first because we were really cautious of our grand getting on and not well and stuff like that, and we both had wives that were pregnant at the time, so 2 lockdown babies, so we kind of stayed in at Hermits for a bit. As it came out about this time last year, August kind of onwards, we started to come to the park actually, and we did come and meet up and things like that as soon as we were allowed to, yeah.
Found it was actually busier than normal, so it wasn't going somewhere quiet and peaceful during a lockdown when you're supposed to be avoiding people. It was actually so busy.
Having a dog, you went out and you spoke to different people. People are a lot more friendly when you've got a dog with you. I think everybody missed that. Oh, this is Flo. She's a black Shih Tzu. She's 17 months old. You're going to bite this. It's another time.
Well, the 3 main good things about Wallsend, we have 3 lovely parks. We have this one, the Hall Grounds, and the Arboretum, which is wonderful. We can walk here every day. Which we do, weather permitting,
There's lots of lovely nature walks around Wallsend. The park, obviously taking the dog for a walk, coming out with your children, very local.
It's very peaceful. I like the different areas of the park as well, because you obviously got the children's play area, but you've got some lovely walks, you've got the wildlife too. It's just a lovely distance as well. Just to, you're not in this first enclosed area, you can move from park to park and see different things, so it's absolutely lovely.
I've always came to the park. When I was a child, my parents brought me to the park. And when I was a mother, I brought my son to the park, my grandson to the park.
Everybody's so friendly in the park.
Yes.
You know, everybody speaks to you. And especially if you've got a dog.
Which I haven't. But you're right there, Anne.
Yeah,
I found that after being in the house on my own for so long. I was on nothing terms and hello, and that might have been all it was, but it made such a difference.
It's so nice, to be honest. It's nice to have a bit of space in a city, to be honest. You've got all the parks and the greenery and the duck pond for the kids.
Oh wow, look, Freya. Freya, can you see the rainbow?
What is this?
Oh.
There's actually not to find the end of it.
Yeah, find some gold.
There's certainly the times I've come, I've not come across any disruptive teenagers or whatever, because it used to be you used to come and they used to drink and do all sorts of other things, and it wasn't a very safe environment for people to come and walk. People used to avoid it, but so different now. Yeah, so different.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's a lovely park. I mean, our granddad was the groundskeeper here in like 1910 or something like that, or something. It was like our great granddad. It was a bit grotty when I was little, but they've brought it on leaps and bounds.
I love the sounds of the trees, the wind going through the trees and the rustle, and it's got a lovely calming vibe when you're walking through the park and you just, you're saying good morning to people. And we've just been down by the ducks, feeding the ducks, and she was enthralled by them, just watching them, and been out for a good hour, so yeah, did she fall asleep? Just about. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we often come down and feed the ducks. It's just something that I love doing. I've always been an animal lover. Just gives you a good feeling, doesn't it, when you're helping them. And it's at no real cost to us. And here comes the rain.
Oh, this is one of the sounds of North Shield. Ah! That's what you'll be hearing. I feel good about living here, yeah. This is all right, but if you want to hear the real parts of North Shields, turn that way, the Ballarat, and the one over the road, and you'll hear all kinds of sound.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. That pub in the corner there and a drink. The Ballarat. Well, the wife that used to have it years ago, she used to keep people read. Now, because she used to have a baseball bat round it at the bar. Well, there's a beer named after her. Betty's beer, you call it. Betty McDow's beer, you call it.
Someone pulled me once. You know what he said to us? He goes, for being the colour you are, you sound more Geordie than me. I didn't know how to take it. Like, kids used to set that billboard on fire all the time, and it'd be like having a bonfire every other week.
As for social nightlife stuff, I don't drink, and I probably wouldn't drink in Wallsend, because in a similar way to my dad used to drink on Shields Road, and the stories he used to tell us about it being quite rough and aggressive, I kind of get that impression here. If I do go out with friends, it's usually to town or Oosburn or somewhere familiar.
56 year. I've lived here since the ban of smoking and that's all changed. The pubs and that, most of the pubs are empty now. Drugs on the scene now, a lot of young kids smoking dope and that. Well, you can see it outside the metro, can't you? Aye.
I did a lot of volunteering through work with the Friends of Richards and Dee Park. I know that have a lot of problems with antisocial behaviour and stuff like that of a night time and things like that, but they do a really good job of keeping the park clean and stuff like that.
There's just nothing for the kids to do though. Mm-hmm. You've got to travel out of town. You've always got to sort of plan. And it's always the cost of travelling as well. That puts on to your trip.
The park, I think, is more for younger kids than older kids. So when I was younger, there was a park for little ones and a park for big ones. If that had been arranged, I think that would be a lot better for the older children to have something to do.
Yeah, we would have an area that is for older ones because we find it a bit boring in the other park with just younger ones.
I don't know how, unless you had a one for little, because it is hard, I think, when you've got a younger age and an older age all together in one area. So maybe if they had done that, it's a different bit as well.
Well, there's nothing for kids to do, especially teenagers. There's nothing here for them. No wonder, they just knock around in gangs and stuff because there's nothing to do. Like Whitley Bay, they've got the skate park, a big children's park. There's nothing like that in North Shields. In the centre anyway. You've got Northumberland Park, but that's sort of a 10-15 minute walk. Yeah.
Where my mum and dad went to school in Heaton and things like that, that's now a community centre and things like that, and they do a lot of stuff, but I don't know if there's much more of that around and much for the kids to do, and because that's why they end up in the park on a night time drinking bottles of Bella and smashing glass and stuff like that. So it's one of those things, it's if they've got nothing to do. So I think if they use the space for something like that, maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was on the streets with my friends. We've had stones thrown at our property, and it's just, there's no need for that. Why are you doing it?
Some of the people are, I would say, a bit rough around the edges. Drugs, drink, shoplifters. So that's the bit I don't like about North Shields.
It's the same as all towns, isn't it? Camaraderie is the word. No such thing anymore. Helping each other out, borrowing money, paying it back, cooking food, giving it your neighbours, all gone. Key on the back of the door just to enter. Can't do that anymore. That's North Shields though. But it's not just North Shields, it's all the towns, isn't it?
I think it all needs to be titivated and cleaned up a little bit and would make it a much better place to be. I mean, you get the lights turn on at Newcastle, but there's nothing like in the local little town areas. Put the lights up and everything at Christmas, but there's no big turn on or anything like that. So that will generate loads of things to North Shields, definitely.
I'm not sure if there's much to improve. I would say that people are pretty happy. They're walking around. You have your own city centre. It's pretty close to like what Newcastle's like, but it's a bit more local. Like you see more of the local people, whereas in Newcastle you always see like different people every time.
I don't know, in recent years it seemed quite soulless. It would be nice to get it back to how it used to be, even if there's not so many shops there, but if more kind of creative and artistic things were happening there. So it would be nice to have something to come back to North Shields for.
There's definitely a huge culture shift between Heaton and Wallsend. I think what people forget is Wallsend isn't actually Newcastle, it's North Tyneside. So when people talk about the rough areas of Newcastle, it's always been a divide between the east and west, whereas Wallsend completely sits outside of that, and I think this is actually more linked to Whitley Bay, North Shields, Meadowwell. But I had never really thought about Wallsend in terms of, like, I don't feel like I've changed my behaviours to fit Wallsend as opposed to Heaton.
When I moved up here, I couldn't believe that people chatted, because I'm a southerner, clearly, and I lived in the East Midlands. I lived in the same house for 12 years and I knew nothing about my neighbours. I knew their names, but I knew nothing about them. And within 12 minutes of living next to my next door neighbours, I knew everything about them. I knew about their lives. I knew about how long they lived in Shields. That chattiness, that welcoming nature hasn't changed. It hasn't changed in the last 11 years.
I've lived in China, lived all over the world, and people ask me about, but we could do this. I said, it's the people in the building that makes the area. The people in the building that makes the area. And I said, every time I come here, everybody's really friendly. They always talk to me, chat away. So God bless you, the North East. I love you.
Living here is brilliant. I love it. I wouldn't move back to Whitley Bay. No, I do miss living right on the seafront, but that's the only downside. I like it. I love North Shields, yeah. Lovely, friendly people. More my kind of people, I think.
The North Shields people are very nice and friendly. There are many pizza shops here variety nationality.
Yes.
Turkish pizza shop, Iranian pizza shop, and English, of course.
I'm working here, like pizza shop. Yeah, we run in the pizza shop. Actually, North Shield is better than Newcastle City Centre. Swear. You know, easy to park, easy to do everything. North Shield better than any place. And seaside as well. Seaside is like this way is good as well.
North Shield is absolutely amazing coast. Here is the tourist place. I haven't heard about North Shield at the first time when I came to the UK. That time I was asylum seeker, you know. The Home Office gave me a home here in the North Shield. Absolutely, I'm calm here. I'm very relaxed. I can release my mind here. I can forget my past, which I was under suffer, because the coast is near my house. When I get stressed, I can come near the sea and look at the sea and get some relaxation.
I mean, people often said, well, you're from Berlin, how did you end up in North Shield? There's nothing there. Well, I think you have closed your eyes. There's much more there than you even imagine is there, you know. It doesn't have to be a big city, a famous city. It could be anywhere. If you open your eyes and you relate to things that are actually on your doorstep, then you actually are richer than anybody can be.
A tale of two North Tyneside towns, as part of Together Again, a collection of voices from North Shields and Wallsend, composed by Jay Sykes. 2021, Helix Arts, funded by the Co-op Foundation.